Season 5. Got Master Ashep, High Priest Master Ashep in the house. Ashe, Ashe. And Precious Mother Love, One Level Wellness. Ashe, Ashe. Oh. And so we have been on a journey today. We have been doing running errands by chance. Nothing planned. All of a sudden, boom, 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 we knocked some things off the list together. Things on his list, things on my list. And during that conversation, or during that ride, we had conversation, and the conversation was the continuation of a few things that I have brought up a few times in the past. I'm driving. I usually don't like recording it when I'm on city driving, but now that I have a guest in the vehicle, I would like to, make this a dialogue and not just a one-sided conversation. Or maybe it's one-sided and there's a agreement or a nod head here and there that comes into play. So, but I had a conversation. Be honest, I had a conversation with Master Tony earlier. And that conversation started with me sharing a download that I got yesterday morning. So the download was in reference to this inside breath thing. And so in particular, you and I just talked about the chi and that when you breathe in, that's like you're revving yourself up, you're charging yourself up. You get to take the energy in from the breath. Your chi charges you up. So it kind of reminds me of a flashlight. You ever seen one of those flashlights where you squeeze it and it revs up, vroom, 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 vroom?
I don't recall a flashlight.
Or some other toy or something. That's how you charge it up.
The child had a bicycle, and on the handlebars, we had this thing. You used to look like a motorcycle. Mm-hmm. The more you boom, 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 it get higher and higher.
Okay.
So a little novelty thing growing up in the 70s, that thing revved up on the handlebar.
So that's indicative of the energy revving up.
Yeah.
It sounds like the charging up of the energy, but at the same time, it's also when I'm using the flashlight, it is what charges up the flashlight. So I have something that does that. So, okay, no comments. Okay, so the thing is this, though. When I charge up my flashlight, that to me reminds me of how you're doing because when you do the fast fire breath, that is actually charging us up, revving us up. So that little toy was kind of an imitation of us, our body doing that. So, but also, I think that there's some real estate that we left off the list. Remember, I said something about the real estate of the circumcision being some spiritual real estate that we don't recognize, that a lot of people are not recognizing as being, it's being stolen from the child at birth. Because I think that if they had that extra measure of precaution or that extra time to think, that extra yardage, that would put them into a different mindset related to their spiritual and the connection of their genitals.
So you're saying there's maybe a connection between foresight?
Foreskin and foresight. Okay. Okay. I can see that. Let me see. Who is this? Tommy says, greetings from Slovakia. I'm just stopping by to spread some love and positivity. Also to hit the like button so I can help with the algorithm. Have a blessed day, y'all. And you too, Tommy. That's what's up. This is Tommy, Tomm. Sounds similar. It's a tongue twister. Yeah. So thank you, Tommy. I appreciate you. Ashe. So so that's spiritual. What did you call it? I said yardage, spiritual real estate. You said
foreskin and foresight.
Foreskin and foresight.
It's like something is missing, something spiritual missing.
Yeah, that's a piece of us that we are actually never going to get back as far as spiritual. They have a way of putting it back. I'm going to keep straight. But it's not necessarily, it's never going to be like new. Like when you take off parts from the car and you replace it with other parts, whether it's the same maker or not. It's never in, not to say floor room or showroom, you know, it fresh off the assembly line. It's not like that, fresh out the box, you know. Right. And God don't make junk. And the junk part is, you know, they're taking out all that stuff. Remember I talked about the pineal glandular system incorporates the wisdom teeth, the tonsils, the appendix, and could possibly even be the foreskin. You know, so all of that, I believe your pineal gland has a glandular system, just like all the other systems have systems, but each of those things are for our immunity, or, you know, to keep their key organs that get polluted very quickly or very easily, because as a child, that's why they were promoting the tonsils. As a child, that's why they were pulling the wisdom teeth. As a child, that's why they take out a lot of appendices. You know, so they can get it out while you're a child. So they actually, the wisdom teeth, the reason why they're good for the pineal gland is because they help to decalcify the pineal gland itself. If you don't have those wisdom teeth in, it doesn't have that extra, because it's like right here. It's like right here. It's in this zone right here. So you would have access to crunch up things at that point. But anyway, so going back to the inside breath and the revving up of the energy and the chi. So I believe what my sun gazing gave me this morning, to add on to some of the other mornings, revelations, downloads. So the download that I got this morning was about, it came to the point where I was speaking on the type of noises that we make when we breathe in. That's a snort, or a snore. And Mr. Fancy Pants over here said that the snore and the snort, the difference between snore and a snort is, what did you say?
Is 2 letters, E and T, E-T. Also extraterrestrial.
Phoned home, right?
Yeah, it's very spacey.
And I said that snoring, which is an inside, you know, you're breathing in when you're snoring. That noise is from you breathing in, snorting through your nose. So snore and snort. So the snort comes from a pig. You know, a pig is, you know, an animal that makes, that's their noise. That's how they communicate. When I heard a dog recently on a video, and I think we just showed you one, but it wasn't the exact one I saw. But the one I saw, the dog was talking, and when the dog was talking, he was talking inside like this. And the mother said, "Say hello." He said, "Hello." And it was when he was breathing in, it was like he was able to do the breathing. I should have went that way. He was able, no, that's right, that's one way. He was able to do the breathing, or make the noise, the sound that she wanted him to make. Only he didn't make it, he didn't limit it to having to exhale and make the noise. He actually was inhaling and making the noise. And so, and it came out legible. "Hi there, my name is Precious MotherLove."
Like that.
Yes. But you know, when I was talking with Bowmaster and he was trying it, it didn't come out. Like I told him, I said, practice it.
Yeah, that's practice. That's practice, definitely practice, yeah.
Because he didn't, I don't know, because I've done it enough where I'm able to recognize that you can actually breathe in a full breath through that communication, through that whole sentence. I can, you know, my breathing in can last a lot longer, like when you sing and you have that long exhale breath, you know, so you are able to gauge it and give it a certain amount, you know, like when we are actually meditating and I say, you know, smell the roses and blow out the birthday candles. If you actually pay attention and smell when you're inhaling, it's a much fuller experience. You actually get to sense what's going on around you a lot more. You can fine tune your sensitivities by broadening the scope and the spectrum of what you're allowing the experience to be. And that's what I'm saying about some let's just say it's some real estate that we can give some value to, because we exhale all the time. We talk, we exhale. We're talking when we're exhaling.
But if you are breathing in while you're doing, you're charting up your inside, and you're also giving it some value by giving it words, tone.
So,
Yeah.
What has just come now, circular breathing. In the context with circular breathing, many instruments and singers do it. However, particularly the didgeridoo. The didgeridoo, effectively playing the didgeridoo, one uses circular breathing. And so as you're breathing in, the sound is still coming out. So that's what comes to mind.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, see, then that also takes it back to the fire breath and the water breath that we talked about. Because when you make the water breath, it's almost like a snore, but it's during the inside, when it's coming in, that you're actually making that noise. So it's when the breath is coming in, the water breath is allowing, and to me, there's some humidity and moisture when you allow the water to, your mouth is watering and you're breathing in. But anyway, it reminded me of that as part of that cycle, that the water and the fire breath, they're two ends of the spectrum sort of thing. And that inside breath, that's a piece of real estate we are not, the average person is not paying attention to.
Right.
And so the energy that we're getting from it, naming it this, naming it that, whatever it is, the techniques themselves, whether you learn it naturally or someone teaches you, these are things that are not mainstream taught. It's not something that on the average anybody even thinks about. So there's a brother on Black Magic 363. He is called the Black Airbender, and he talks about when you breathe in, how that breath does not stop at your lungs. It actually continues on out to the tips of whatever, with whatever energies. I think I need to make a left somewhere, right? Pennsylvania Avenue. Okay, got it. So it is, it made me think about the capacity of our lungs, and if that energy of the chi is going out beyond that, once it's used in, I think the heart and the lungs, somehow their synergy is one does its thing and one does its thing, and they take what they need, and then the rest goes off to wherever it distributes it to. So, but what I was thinking was that in the process of us using that electrical, that vortex, that frequency, that energy, when we are speaking into ourselves in that way, I believe it has an impact. It has an energetic impact on us. Can't say what the big difference is. I can just say we don't use it, and now we can give it purpose. We can actually now spread the word. Hey,
Be more purposeful with your inside breath.
Yeah. That's it.
And so the more I think about, the things that we're not using, to me, that's like another Lucy evolution. Like you said, that didgeridoo, that cycle of breath, that breath circle, that's half of the equation. What's it called?
Didgeridoo, right? So the didgeridoo is also known as one of the oldest instruments.
And it's a very, what do you call that? Native, natural, and so something that they learn about that and that breath. Keep straight. Okay. 30-second. That's that street down there with the light? Okay. Oh, straight 30-second. Gotcha. So, but yeah, it's as though, like, if we only are using the exhale and the inhale is available, we're only saying, I have only heard people speak on that we get the chi from breathing in. But if we get chi when we're breathing in, and we're actually using intentionally that breath for whatever countless kinds of reasons that we could, but now knowing that it has some sort of potentiality to it, why not include that in the world of wellness as we know it? You know, so, but then I want to go back to the snort and the snore, because as I said before, I believe that snoring is a language. I have been able to have conversations with people who, while they were asleep and they're snoring, but I'm saying with their spirit though. I'm having a soul to soul conversation at that point, or soul to spirit, or whatever. It's not, I'm not talking, that person is asleep. Their physical is asleep. So I'm getting an inside conversation. Okay, I got it. That I can, yeah, could be very well ET-ish, because, in Avatar, if our physical, is asleep and the Avatar is, wakes up, the Avatar is off doing something, but that's not to say that it doesn't have the capability of doing multiple things at the same time, which is having that conversation with me through the snore while they're off dreaming in La La Land.
Sometimes people talking and don't know what they're saying and why they're saying it, whether they're channeling or just drunk or off some psychedelics or something. They're not aware of what they're saying, but they know they're talking.
Right. Okay. Oh, and by the way, we got a bunch of stuff in here. We're doing the storage run, so it's a bunch of stuff in here with us. Not sure what's going on. There's another message that came up, and we'll read the messages when I stop at the temple. We're on our way back to the temple, Mother Earth. This is High Priest Master Ashep. I'm Precious Mother Love. Welcome back to Heart Happy Hour Season 5. And so the snore and the snort. Okay, so the snort, the pig. Let me tell you something. I think that there's a little something else to the pig story in the Bible. I think there's some levels to it, that stuff that's like been thrown, the baby's been thrown out with the bathwater. Because the snort, what the pig does, I believe, okay, so, I described this earlier to you, Master Ashep. So when the not good spirit or the not good energy was on someone's physical, it was transferred into a herd of swine, right? And so then the swine jumped into the water. Okay, so where did the spirit go at that point? Did the spirit maybe potentially become part of the water?
Yeah, potentially, yeah.
Okay, so, in talking about water, I want to say living waters. We talked about living waters, the waters that are from Mother Gaia. Like I said, I was at a beach, and they actually have a well, and it's dug way down underneath into the earth. It's like putting a straw in Mother Earth and tapping into it. So now you have access to spring water. You sprung a leak. So when you this living water, I took a shower in it. It felt like silk. I mean, you could actually, all you needed was a drop of soap, and all of a sudden it would lather up into like this huge, ferocious lather. So, but the funny part is that, when you say spring water, to me that kind of makes the mindset of that it's living water. It's got all kinds of living stuff in it. It's from the time when things can flourish. One of the AT things that I was watching was talking about that, and I think I talked to you about it when they had what had happened is these people had gone to what was considered the Tree of Life, and the Tree of Life had been hacked into. It had been hacked into, and what had happened, that Tree of Life had given some alterations to life. Am I making a right or a left?
A left with the next one.
Okay. So the alterations that came up, the mutations that came up from that was there was some blood in the water. And the blood from the tree that got into the living waters produced some mutations of individuals that were part animal and part human. And so, and they had a blend of their traits. They were going by their sensitivities, the extra sensitivities that animals have.
Right.
They can hear things we can't hear, see things we can't see. The spectrum of things they can hear and see is different from the human's interpretation or radar system. So what had happened is the conclusion of this. I think I started talking about this on one of the Sundays, one of the Soulful Sundays. So what happened is they felt like the humans had bastardized and mutated so much to the negative that the humans did not deserve to continue to live because they weren't taking care of the spirit properly. And so there was some sort of thing that was going to kill them. So, and we're going to just sit for a second if you don't mind, and I will go back and talk about what kind of words are on there, because it looks like people are saying hi. So the snore, the snort, the pig. I was getting to the pig, but I was at the living waters. So the living waters, what I just spoke of just now, related me back to the movie, the E.T. movie, because seemed like as I was starting to expand on the living waters, because I was talking about the fact that I was going to get to the point where, that spring that we sprung a leak from and tapped into, it seems like that's getting directly into the living waters of Mother Gaia. Just like the coconuts are like the H2O3 that Yaki Awakens talks about. It comes from the fruit, and he said fruit is the only thing that we eat, or only, I believe, where we can get only food that we can get the amino acids, the minerals, the nutrients, the libation, all of that, which is it's like a holistic nutrition that we ingest, right? So
That straw is a very good analogy, because most of us are familiar with putting a straw into a soda or putting a juice and then sucking. And it's like, ooh, this is so good, it's refreshing. Put that straw in there. And then the oil well came up. So just to expound upon that,
they say that's liquid gold.
So from one perspective, the straw we drinking the living waters, and the oil is getting to tap in the blood or something like that. So the blood as this vital fluid for the earth, and so it just came up now when you said the straw, the oil well and the water well are both straws, but for different purposes. Yeah.
Okay, because I don't think we can give a blood transfusion. We can do that with coconut water, which is, I think, like Mama's teat, Mother Gaia's teat, drinking her milk, which you do put the straw in that a lot of times. But I don't think we can do a blood transfusion with the oil.
Well, it was in the sense of, again, water and oil, both liquids coming from.
I think it should be important, though. There's something about that, because that's produced by Mother Gaia. That is oil that's produced by. Okay, so the living waters, getting back to what I thought was Mother Gaia's, when we are drinking water from the spring, when we're drinking water from the coconut, that's that H2O3, living waters. Things are in that I don't know if the spring water has that same chemical value. I just know when you drink it from the fruits of her labor, when you eating fruit from Mother Gaia, that is where we get our nutrition. So this alien program I'm watching, he was talking about how we're being greedy by eating by doing anything other than enjoying what the animals do on the earth while they're living here. Why would we interfere with an animal's life and take their life? That's being reckless with your power, as well as being greedy. That's what he was saying. So that living water, to me, like I said, the coconut water can be used as a blood transfusion. Apparently you can put it in an IV and go right into the vein to keep you alive if you don't have your type of blood. A, B, O, positive, negative, whatever. So, but let's look at what these comments say here, because I'm gonna go back to that snort when I get a chance. Okay, so let's go back to the top. So we read Tommy. Oh, Tommy said, "My pleasure, Madame." Oh, so I appreciate your the pleasantries, the greetings. I think I need to put this back on, because that feels better. I feel naked without. Okay. And Hudson says hi. Oh, the plug. You got any updates on Ligma? What is Ligma? You know what Ligma is?
Nothing coming to mind with Ligma.
Okay. And Phoenix says, hey, how are you? Okay, so back to the snort. So the snort is this. Okay, so the pig snorts, right? He got that bad rap, bad reputation because they put, why they made the pig the lowly animal that it is, made it out to be a lowly animal when it very well may be divine. What did he represent your money when you're tucking your money away?
Piggy bank.
In a piggy bank. Yeah. So there's got to be, to me, there's some money in that piggy because, first off, from the rooter to the tutor, it is one of the highest commodities as far as food on the stock market. Yeah. The prices went up like crazy on it. So it seems to me like there's something that they're leaving out. And we're eating the pig of the stomach, the bacon, we eat the whole thing. But I'm just saying,
some of us,
we, as in society, as in people, as in humans, I'm including myself in that bracket, but in the bracket that I used to, I probably don't eat it as nearly as much as I would like to. Maybe once or twice a year, I treat myself to it. But really, I love the taste of bacon. Da 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 da. I can fry up the bacon, da 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 da. Bring it home from the pan, da 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 da. And whatever. Yeah. Just like I'm a man. But anyway, that's not what I meant to do. But anyway, done now. But I think there's something to that. This little piggy went to the market. This little piggy stayed home. This little piggy had roast beef. This little piggy had none. Like there's something to all these little fairy tales. All these little, you know he porked out, he pigged out, stop being a pig. Anyway, so the snort, that's how a pig communicates, right? Yeah. Apparently they've got very strong high immunity, and they say cleanliness is next to godliness, right? So maybe the pig sty or whatever, piglet or whatever, maybe all of those are alluding to how if you're not as clean as a whistle, if you're dirty, you're a devil. But I know plenty of clean devils. They look clean as the board of health, but they looking devilish too. I mean, they doing devilish things or doing different things with their energy that I wouldn't see myself doing. Let's put it that way. Because again, I don't think there's a good or a bad energy. I think it's just what we do with it.
Yeah, some people was marketing several years ago heavy that pork, the other white meat.
There was a big thing about pork being the other white meat. Yes, I do recall that. That was a big push. But what I'm saying is I think there's levels to it. I think that all those little pork and pig, porky pig, that's all, folks.
There's levels to everything. So you're absolutely right.
So I think there's something in it that we're not that I haven't pinpointed yet as the proof in the pudding of what's up with the pig. I'm going to continue to deal with it. I'm going to continue to push. I'm going to continue to get my downloads, and I'll keep you posted on it. But I really think that snoring is a language, that inside breath is unused, untapped energy that we could tap into. I really think that there are some inside, things that with that whole pineal system. I think there's another system above the chakra systems. I think there's another, like I think it could possibly be between the chakras and the kundalini. Like there's a missing link in the middle to get us to bridge the gap from what we do and know and apply with our chakras to get to that kundalini versus maybe even activating the kundalini between the kundalini and the Merkaba, maybe between the activation and the actual, so there's some game controls, there's some levels that we, from energy that we need to, that I am now learning to even see as a potential, as an area to apply my newest levers, controls, energy working, light working mechanisms, techniques, and so on. Like in our gateway meditation that we used to do at the full moons, at new moons, and whatever other vortex, lions, gates, whatever other vortexes that we found were available, you know, you can make it when you want to by just by doing the breathing exercise. Create you. I believe that fire breath might just burn a hole through there, like bleep, bleep, bleep. That's all, folks. You know how you come through that Looney Tunes
Right,
thing,
right, right, right.
you know,
Yeah.
and the way he's talking, bleep, bleep, bleep. That's how the when I was first baptized. That's how the elder was trying to tell me that you could. She tried to get me to stutter into thank you, thank you. You
Oh,
know, so to get you to do in that gibberish chatter, that holy language, that when you get into speaking in tongues, that's what she was that's how they got me into that. So I believe there's some rabbit holes that I need to go down and a little bit deeper to get to the meat and potatoes, the creme de la creme of that actual energetic. I'm looking for another strain of energy, another strain of energy, of information, data, downstream load,
uh-huh.
streaming. I think that shoot, them living
Yeah.
waters is streaming too, but yeah, flowing, just
Right.
flowing. So, my 5 words of supernatural wellness, the last and final word is flow. And so, and it begins with hydration, which is that water, which could be the living water, which in my book, we talk about the H3O2.
Right.
I'm just filling in the blanks between the bread, the meat and potatoes that go with the meal, and whatever our appetizers and what's the main course and all of that, man. We cooking with Crisco now.
There it is.
and Crisco from the pig too, something like that. I don't
Something
know.
like that. Lard, Crisco, lard, grease.
It's the fatty part of the pig. At least that's
Mm,
what I thought it was.
yeah.
It could be the lard is part of Mama Gaia's oil that they cleanse and take all that stuff out of. I'm not sure.
Well, what's the difference between lard and lord? 2 letters.
Oh.
AR. I
Mm-hmm.
mean AO or OA.
Mm-hmm.
So AO, OA.
Mm-hmm.
There you have it. That's something there too.
Mm.
Something came up when you were
There
speaking of.
was a show that came on called OA, and it was about this being that was from another planet, and they came in through this body that they, once they recognized who they were, they morphed into something else. But it was definitely not from here. It was definitely an ET.
Yeah.
So, what else?
Was just going to share when it came up and your person mentioned the Kundalini energy and chakras.
Mm-hmm.
Just going to share that in 2018, my person written this book called Emotional Wellness Workbook. And in this book, it alludes to the emotional body, mental body, and spiritual body. And so for my person's modality, its own system it created from the uploads, suggestion that as the Kundalini energy rises up from the base of the spine to the crown and comes back down, to the degree that those energy centers that it passes through are vibrating in a harmonious way, then the more that we'll feel the essence of God even be more in gateway. Um, and the reason why the emotional wellness work is tied in, because the theory is that my person embraces from the root chakra un, up until the fifth chakra, the throat chakra, there's an association with emotions, worry, anger, grief, sadness, fear. Those are generally speaking the 5 major emotions that most of us deal with on a daily day basis. And so the theory tying in with the Kundalini energy and our chakras, to the degree that we are aware of our emotions and how we may be experiencing fear, anger, worry, sadness, grief, or those things, is to the degree that those emotions, the label of those particular emotions provide resistance for this Kundalini energy,
Mm.
so that we're not physically feeling as much euphoria and bliss as we maybe could because of the um, perceptions.
Not letting go of the steering wheel.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And not only not feeling as much, not within that feeling of the energy is also information. So we're
Mm-hmm.
maybe not be tapping in with the
Mm-hmm.
insight from the all because of how we are emotionally.
Missing the stream.
Because that Kundalini energy is going up and down, is bringing it in from the crown up and down, However, it's to the degree that we are emotionally stable and a harmonious emotional state with less tension, which is separation, and more unity with those energy centers, then that Kundalini energy, which is already it keeps moving. We can feel it more and also be more intuitive because of the information, i.e., staying more in gateway, feeling the peace of God and being communing with God with the intuition of God.
which surpasses all understandings,
Yeah,
overstandings, innerstandings, outerstandings.
yeah,
But what I think is that when we are doing that fire breath, which is revving up and cheeing up
right,
us, I believe that, if we are being true to the theories, if energy never dies and it just reformats or reforms or
right,
remembers, seems to me like we have some new areas to look into and to tap into, because when those charges, when those chakras are revving up,
right,
and we're fine tuning this whole machine, when we're humming, when we're on all fours, when we're allowing ourselves to be free, when we're allowing ourselves to blur the lines and allow the edges of ourselves to be expanded.
mm-hmm.
It One of my phones is making some noise. Then it allows us to be able to expand our sphere of influence
Right,
and inclusion.
right,
So you can include more in your sphere,
absolutely,
and you can also tune in more to what's in your sphere or connected or touching or around your sphere. You can have a greater awareness. Our real estate now has become two-way. I mean,
yeah,
twofold
mm-hmm.
in that the in breath and the out breath, it's all breath,
Right,
and it's all that circle, that cycle, that breath of life. Like your bolt is based on, you know, energizing, charging, balancing, harmonizing, to have your heaven on earth here,
right,
keeping your energy in a space, in a place, where you're more in control of all factors,
right,
because you're fine tuning, it becomes like fine art, finite, you're actually getting to the roots and causes
mm-hmm.
and in inside as well as outside
Right,
the breath. So,
yeah. Double dipping with the breath.
yes, yes. Now that's what that is. Yeah. They say, oh, you're double dipping. Yeah.
There you go.
The inside and the outside. So, in a holistic way, to sum up what I have said, is that I'm looking at expanding my knowledge, my experience, my skill, my science of self discoveries in reference to the fullness of our breath. And that's what I'm working on.
Ache,
Ashe, Ashe. Oh,
Cheo.
so family, I'm pulling out. Got things to do. Want to make sure I got this on paper. I mean, this whole thing out. You know what? That just reminded me to pull out my paper because I did make some notes, and I want to make sure I covered everything. Oh yeah, I wanted to talk about. Okay, so new waters. We have to take in a certain amount of new waters every day. They talk about half your body weight, right? The
Mm-hmm.
Marcus Garvey's
Right.
first wife. There's a water club. Ezzy, one of um,
I admit.
our Mint members,
Yeah.
she actually has a water club where she quotes, that Marcus Garvey's first wife was helpful in indicating, remember that book we read when we were in school, You're Not Sick, You're Thirsty?
Right.
Right, on the premise of that. So it says that you should be drinking half your body's weight in water. And what I was saying in reference to that is that new waters cleans and renews your flow, including the cellular bodies, or the cell bodies, or the celebrations, I don't know, cell breakations.
Mm-hmm.
And somewhere, for some reason in here, I have a sailor went to sea to see what he could see, but all that he could see was the bottom of the ocean. See, a sailor went to Uwashi Wash. I don't know why, but I think that has some significance to it that we have not broken down. And that makes me think about breaking or breakers, or when the waves are flowing, how at the top of
Mm-hmm.
the crest it has a breaking.
Right.
So when the waters, so when it curls, surfing energy to me is like many moods of the moon.
There it is.
because the moon is always, it is a big influence on the flow. It is a big influence on the waters of this land, this ball,
Mhm.
this sphere. And it reminds me of the birthing waters, or when the mother's waters break,
Right.
when she actually begins to give birth. It's actually, I don't know why the word breach came in, because they say if the baby is born with the feet first, it's a breech baby, but I don't know what that means. So that is, that a breach of contact, contract or
Sounds like you have
something?
homework.
Okay, so
Mhm.
anyway, so it's affected by the moon. Females, mothers, their waters, their flow, their monthly cycle, 28-day cycle, just like the lunar, the
Right.
mother's period is every 28 days.
Mhm.
So and it's connected to the moon. My cycle was connected to the full moon. I would have a cycle every full moon, and whenever my birthday was on the full moon, which happened like, I don't know, 5 6 years straight before I recognized that I was actually, every those birthdays, I'm like, well, dang, it's the full moon and it's my birthday and I'm on my period.
Right.
That was a three the hard way for me.
Mhm.
So anyway, so yeah, so lunatics, lunacy,
Emotions.
energy, emotion.
Emotions are also associated with water. Emotions
Okay,
being watery.
what's that man's name? Emoto, Dr.
Emoto.
Emoto.
And high
I
apropos.
am, yeah, but see, but why is it that we call it energy and motion, or emotions? Are we naming it after him? Because he was talked about for putting the energy into the water and recognizing that it forms these patterns, beautiful patterns, and so on.
We're bringing up the emotions that your person mentioned about the female, which is also to say that along with that, every human or every, for the most part, humans, I just talk about the emotional wellness and the chakras. So as the moon has these different phases throughout the 28 day cycle, that phase is also have an impact on our emotional stability and our emotional movement from new moon to full moon and back to new moon. So just
Mm-hmm.
sharing this also along with the women's hormone cycle,
Mm-hmm.
which is emotional, which is why a lot of times maybe females or women are impacted more emotionally with the moon cycle because you're more emotional because of your flow, natural flow. How and men are also affected because crime or certain things go up a lot of times with the
On
full
the
moon
full moon, yeah,
because of
car
the
accidents.
emotions. So just
Mm-hmm.
just adding to it, how men and women are both affected with their emotions, which are watery because of
Mm-hmm.
the moon. And by us being aware of this, and as these moons have these cycles and being more in tune with our emotions, we're more setting ourselves up to be have emotional wellness. So when that kundalini energy rises from the root to the crown, using the moon with our emotions, it's something there we can work with our kundalini, our emotions, and the moon cycle and the moon phases. Just sharing that information because there's a correlation right there.
Okay. Hey guys, I know we're going on 40 minutes. I appreciate who you are and that you're hanging in there. And it's just a few more points that I want to make before I leave. And I apologize, Master Shep. Did I cut you off? Are you good?
Yeah, that's the gist of it.
Okay.
Give thanks.
Okay, not a problem. So, because there's a few more things I wanted to share, and I'm going back to these notes, and I talked about influencing our sphere of influence, but I want to talk about ear and thoth,
Mm-hmm.
earth,
Mm-hmm.
eareth. Do you eareth me?
Yeah.
Here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I
How hardy is that?
very hearty. Thank you.
Yeah.
So is it and so okay, so I want to speak on, remember we just talked about fruity, juicy, and meaty.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So coconut milk is what we could, the water that we would replace our blood or blood plasma with, as a transfusion. So that to me is like a direct connect to the earth and giving us directly what we need from, because we eat the animals because they eat the grass, so we're eating the grass by way of eating the animal, which you cut the animal out, and eat the whatever it is green that's growing. So you get direct connect in that way. So if you directly connect to the mother's tea, a coconut milk, a
Uh-huh.
piece of fruit, or
Right.
whatever, it seems to me like we're connecting to, like, the fruits of our mother's boob.
Being breastfed.
Yes.
Yes.
So and that fruit is, it then yields the energy that we don't need from the animal anymore. Amino fluids, all of the different. It's an electrolyte. Um, um, uh, DNA is in that is in the coconut milk. It's in the fruit juice.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like hugging up or sucking up or building up or bonding up. Your natural connection to Earth. But then, there was something else that I was talking about earlier, pig Latin, the pigs jumping off the cliff, snorting, snore, religion, pork, demonizing. Okay, so those are points that we went over. So there was just one more thing that I wanted to make sure that we talked about. And I went through the eras. I think we might have talked about it all. I think we got it all. In some kind of way, we touched over most of it. Oh, no, we didn't. Guess what? In French, this was something that I had talked about once before. In French, je suis, je suis, I am.
Yes.
That's also, if you look at the spelling of it, another way of saying Jesus.
Uh-huh.
If you look at Jesuit,
Uh-huh.
that's just like I am it.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
There it is.
Yeah. So I just kind of wanted to toss that into that. That's where that living waters began. At the top of the conversation, that's where I started with the living waters and the fluids. So this is what just came to me in my most recent downloads and stuff. So pig Latin. Ude, uye, antwe, ute, oge, ifwe, ime, ute, ade, oste.
Something like that, yeah. That's the pig Latin. That sounds like it.
Well, what I just said is, do you want to go to the store? Ude, uye, antwe, ute, oge, ute, ade, oste.
Yeah, one of those things where they say if you don't use it, you lose it. So I started being 6 or 7 years old.
So your parents was using pig Latin when you was young?
No, as children, as youth, we would play with pig Latin.
Oh yeah.
Yes. The rules of my personal call were something like whatever the first letter is, put that on the end and add A at the end.
A, right.
So
that was pig Latin.
We remember the rules and did it. But again, like most foreign languages, if you don't use it, you lose it. So that's what we're saying. We heard the words. But there was so much times we've heard it was like they still sound foreign, although we know the rules of engagement.
So yes, it is a foreign language-ish. But it does remind me of, that was a conversation when the parents wanted to have a conversation around you and they didn't want you to know what they were saying. That's what my parents did. They spoke in pig Latin or a broken English. So, but okay, fans and friends and family and folks, I hope you like, subscribe, or shared. That's what we talked about today. We talked about that inside snore, that snort, the living waters, the fact that we are not using the full real estate of our breath, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So go back and look and listen. Thank you for hanging out with us. Ashe.
Ashe.
One Love and Wellness.
Yep.
Love+Art equals wellness. Heart Happy Hour, Season 5.
All right.
Peace.
And wholeness.
And oneness.